I really feel like this is an opportunity for DMOs to really showcase how they are stewards of their destination, and in doing so, really cement their value and hopefully be seen as not just something for visitors to pay attention to, but someone that locals can also really trust.
You guys, I have been working on something for the last 6 months that has been such a giant project, but I'm so proud of it. I'm excited to announce that I've just released my book. It's called Touch Points, and it's the Destination Marketer's Guide to Brand Evaluation and Enhancement. And it is a comprehensive guide for destinations to look at their brand, evaluate what you've done, and make a very clear and detailed plan of action of how to fix it. And look, I'm biased, right? Because I wrote it, but I think it's so good. I think it's a great guide, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. And I wanted to tell you guys about it. It's available on Amazon. Search Touch Points by Adam Stoker, and you'll be able to get that book for your destination. And I think it's going to be, especially for anyone that is trying to look at their brand holistically, this is the book for you. So check it out. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Stoker. Once again, excited to be with you today. We've got a great guest for you. You know, we've got this new trend of bringing back some of our most popular guests from the show, especially amid this coronavirus crisis. And today is no different. We have a friend of the show. Her name is Amrita Gurney. And Amrita, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adam. So nice to be on again.
Oh, we're excited to have you. You know, we talked in the episode that we had you on before a little bit about what you do and your role, but maybe for some of our new listeners that are tuning in more recently, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure, be happy to. So I work at a company called CrowdRiff, and we are a software company, and we've been working in the travel and tourism space for a long time now. And basically, we make a product for digital marketers who work at tourism bureaus, DMOs, CVBs, and our product is used by them to help source and distribute and publish visual content, whether it's from social media or from a great photographer that you've licensed this content from. So, yeah, just helping tell great visual stories, and of course, lots of great technology and artificial intelligence behind it all to help you make smarter decisions.
Yeah, we're going to spend most of our time today talking about how you guys have responded to the coronavirus and what you're seeing with your clients. But I do want to dive into your product, because your product is one that I think is very critical to the industry. And so tell us just, I know you gave us this overview of what your product is, but I know you have a couple of different packages for your product that leverage user-generated content for destinations. Do you mind diving just a little bit deeper into that before we really get into the meat of the episode today?
Sure, absolutely. So, even before the virus pandemic really hit everyone in the industry, I think we were seeing as marketers, but also just as regular people and consumers, that social media has really changed the way that we share information about the experiences that we have. And so, whether you're going somewhere locally or you're going out of town on vacation, I think many of us are taking photos and then sharing those photos on social media. And so, CrowdRiff originally was a platform that would help brands see who is sharing social media visual content around their destination, and then help facilitate rights to that content, help use that content on their website. And the nice thing was, I like to say that it's really seeing a destination through a visitor's eyes. And so that's really what our product has been used for. And we have grown over the years to work now with over 800 tourism brands. So, everyone from
Wow.
large countries to one person DMOs.
Great. And, one of the things that I've been impressed with over the last little bit is CrowdRiff has been one of the more proactive organizations in the industry during this coronavirus pandemic. Tell me a little bit about the last, 30 to 45 days. Give me a snapshot of the timeline of major events that have factored into changes or efforts that CrowdRiff has made.
Sure. So I guess like many people, the last month or so has felt like a year. There's been a lot that's happened. And really for us, I think we've gone through a lot of things that I imagine a lot of your listeners will relate to. At the beginning, we were kind of watching this virus and the impact of the virus. And I was actually in Europe when Europe was starting to have a lot of cases. So I happened to be in France and was supposed to be speaking at a conference in Berlin. And I'd flown over there a couple of days earlier to join my friend in France for a few days off. And while I was there, that was the first time where one of the conferences I was speaking at made the decision to cancel the event. And so here I was in France, and I was doing all this prep to speak. And then, 2 days before, unfortunately, the event got canceled. So it was interesting to be right in the epicenter while I would say North America was still not quite there yet. And so when I flew back, we were all kind of watching to see what does this mean for upcoming business travel. And so for the first week or two, it probably didn't feel that different other than just, watching what was happening with events and waiting to make some last minute decisions. And then, Toronto started to put out a lot more public health information, and we wanted to flatten the curve. So we made the decision as a company to have everyone work from home. So we've been home for about 5 weeks now as a company. And that's really when we started to go through the same kind of shock that everyone in our industry has been experiencing around, wow, slowly we've seen, the travel start to slow down, and then entire regions shut down or change because of social distancing. And so we've really had to adjust what we care about as a company. And I would say at the beginning, a lot of it was just wanting to be extremely thoughtful and sensitive because we have seen the pain that a lot of our customers are going through and the pain that their local partners are going through. And we really wanted to just be a part of the community and be helpful. And so at the beginning, we shut off our campaigns so that we weren't actively, aggressively marketing or selling our product. And we started hosting these community Zoom calls that were really meant to be kind of part therapy and part practical information. And
Right.
so that really was the beginning of, I would say, a real shift for us as a team and as a company.
Great, great. And it's been interesting to watch. And one of the things that I've loved seeing as you've gone through this is every day you use a new Zoom background from one of your clients, and you've even gotten to the point where people are sending you new Zoom backgrounds now to use on these calls. Tell me a little bit about how that came about.
Yeah, that's been such a one of these nice little fun delights. So, of course, there's a lot of stress I think that we're all facing, and there's a lot of news that we're consuming. And I just wanted to do something that was just like a little bright moment in my day. And again, I'm a very social person, and a lot of our customers I've gotten to know personally, and so we're all sitting here with these Zoom backgrounds of our home offices, and I would say some of them are nice and some of them are probably not so nice. And I can't remember where I first saw it. It might have been Visit Alaska. They might have been the first one that I saw. And it just seemed to make so much sense to me. I mean, all of these DMOs have amazing, beautiful visual content libraries. And so it started off that, yeah, I just started with a couple, and then I asked more people to share theirs with me. And then now I love it. I have a bit of a backlog and I'm just working through. Today I was in Fairfax, Virginia, which was really nice in one of their museums. And it's just been, again, just like a nice little light thing to do. Hopefully brings a smile to some people's faces.
Well, and with the number of people that are on Zoom right now, the idea of creating unique Zoom backgrounds for a destination should actually be more interesting than it's ever been in the past, because so many people are using it that you actually may get some mileage out of putting that picture of your destination up on someone's Zoom background.
Absolutely. I don't think we think of it as a marketing tool, but it totally is. I mean, you are, even as myself, putting these backgrounds on my own Zoom background, I see myself on the call. And so I'm sitting here looking at this beautiful destination, as I look at my own image being mirrored back to me. And it is definitely giving me wanderlust. I would say that I've probably added a few places to my wish list now.
That's great. That's great. Well, I think it's a fun thing that you're doing, and if there's any destinations listening and they want to send you their Zoom background so that you can continue the trend, how can they get a hold of you to do that?
I would love that. So you can either send me a tweet. So my Twitter handle is just at Amrita Gurney. It's all one word. And otherwise, you can also send me an email, which is just my first name at crowdriff.com.
Great. And Amrita is Amrita, correct?
Yeah, got it right.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, that's fun. I brought you on not just to talk about your Zoom background though. So we'll we'll go into one of the things that I love that CrowdRiff has rolled out here, and that's the Localhood program. Can you tell me a little bit about that program and how it works? And I know you're in the early stages, but also kind of what's coming.
Sure, absolutely. So, again, about a month ago, we were sitting here kind of observing everything that was going on and really wanting to do something that was helpful. And we knew that the time to do something helpful really meant doing something that was also free. We didn't want this to be an additional burden for any of our DMOs. And then their communities. And so it started off with us just thinking, what can we do that would be helpful to the industry at large? And we started to really see that, in order for the tourism industry to rebound, all of our local neighborhoods need to rebound because they are the lifeblood of our local experiences, which then, of course, make up the experiences and destinations that people want to come and visit. And so while we were thinking about that, we also were doing, we were either in quarantine or social distancing, and we started to notice that all of the businesses around us were having to reinvent themselves. And so every day it seemed like there was something new, whether it was in your local hood or in your city, where a restaurant was now converting to also offering groceries, or they were doing delivery where they didn't before. But as a local, it was really hard to know what the latest information was or even what that was. So I don't know about you, but I see people posting on Instagram, which is great. But if I'm not following them, or even if I am, there's no way I can really find that content later. So Localhood was really born of really meeting the needs of both locals and their local businesses. And the idea is that it's a platform for locals to be able to create and share stories about the local businesses and products in their neighborhoods so that other locals can also find that content. And most importantly, that it can connect them directly with a way to support the business. So think of it as an Instagram story with a lot of rich content attached to it, like a link to buy online gift certificate or a way to make a purchase through their online store, learn their hours, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah, so this is entirely geared around helping locals understand how to support the businesses that provide the necessary infrastructure for their community. Am I understanding that correct?
Absolutely. It's a consumer platform. It's a community of locals who really want to do their part to help these businesses survive the pandemic, but also thrive even after all of these restrictions have been lifted. And so we see this as being something that will be really helpful right now because things are changing so much, and this content doesn't really live in one central place. But we certainly see this as being a resource even afterwards, because certainly as we start to open up restrictions and be able to start going out again, everyone's going to start with their local town or region. And certainly, I think a lot of them could use our support.
Well, and this comes back to the beauty of innovation that comes out of any crisis. And I actually had Will Seckham on the episode launched just this past week. And we talked a lot about how he's been through multiple crises in the industry. And each time it's been so painful. But then on the other side, there's so much innovation that comes out of it. And I'm looking at this Localhood product that you have, and I'm saying, just like you actually just mentioned, is this is valuable, but not just during this difficult time. This is valuable for every community and every local business in perpetuity. It's not like this is going to go away. So this is a piece of innovation that was triggered by the crisis that we're in, but goes so much farther. And I think destinations, as they approach solving the problems that come with this crisis, definitely need to take a long-term vision or perspective as they're trying to solve these problems, not just something that can be helpful right now, but maybe a permanent solution that improves the nature of the relationship with those stakeholders.
Absolutely. And I think that, all the points that you were saying, and Will is someone that I really respect and I follow a lot of what he shares. And I think he has given some really great perspective on that exactly, that sometimes the worst circumstances can force you to create things that end up being really long lasting. And we really see DMOs as having a very unique position right now where I think to some degree, I think we almost maybe took for granted that DMOs actually have a huge role to play in their local communities, even though I know a lot of their focus before was really looking to bring visitors to their destinations. And certainly that's not going to go away. But we see the DMOs doing everything they can to support their local partners. And many people who work at a DMO, I would say most people who work at a DMO, they love their communities and they know a lot of people in the community. And it's really been so clear to me how hard people are working at these DMOs to help their locals. And so I really feel like this is an opportunity for DMOs to really showcase how they are stewards of their destination. And in doing so, really cement their value and hopefully be seen as not just something for visitors to pay attention to, but someone that locals can also really trust as being the purveyors of all of the most relevant and trustworthy information and giving them all the experiences that they need to be able to enjoy their local communities as well.
Totally agree. I think that's a great point. I want to go back to the Localhood product here. And I'm on the landing page right now, and I see that there's a section for I'm a local and I'm a business. As I was looking at this, one thing that I thought was really interesting is, the restaurant owner is the restaurant owner because they're great at running a restaurant or anything like that. So I'm even wondering, would it make sense for destinations, especially the marketing department of destinations, to go on here and actually fill this out for the businesses that are stakeholders in their area? Could you see that as a use case for this Localhoods product?
Yeah, I think that, well, we're in early conversations with some DMOs who are going to be some of our first launch partners for Localhood. And we see that depending on the DMO, I think there's a couple of different ways that they can get involved. For some, they really want to be seen as, the ones amplifying that this resource exists, that this community exists, and a lot of them are really helping us in connecting us with the early creators who are going to be creating this content. But we also know that the DMOs, they know all of the businesses in their destination. And so I do think that there is a role that they can play. And at the end of the day, I also come back to the fact that all the people who work at a DMO are all locals. So even just outside of the organization, I think, if you're the digital marketing manager at a destination, there's no reason why you can't have a creator account on Localhood and use that to help create stories. But certainly we are going to be talking to the DMOs we're working with to understand how they can best support Localhood and make sure that it really is a rich community resource.
Okay, and what's your timeline for launch?
That's the $1 million question. So I would say in the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing more come out where locals are going to be able to start really actively creating this content.
Great, great. And so we're recording this today on the 21st of April. And so I just want to make sure that, as you say, the next couple of weeks, that our listeners have that frame of reference. It might take us a week or so to get this episode up and live. So I want to make sure that as people hear, hey, in the next couple of weeks, what does that actually mean? So yeah, probably first week of May, time to check back.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Amrita, I think this is an awesome product. If any of our destination listeners want to be an early user or want to reach out and learn more about the program, same contact info as before?
Yes, absolutely. So you can reach me on social, on email, also on the Localhood homepage. You'll see if you go a little further down the page, there is a option for someone who is from a DMO to fill in a quick sign up form. So that's another way that they can do that. And, I have to say, we've been really blown away by the response we've had. About 150 DMOs already reach out. So we know that we
Wow.
tapped into something and we would love to open this up to really at any destination in the world, because I think that this type of utility and community and this storytelling, it really exists everywhere, whether you're a town of 1,000 people or you're a city of 5 million.
Great. Great. Kay, well, anybody that's listening, go check that out, because I think it's going to be a great resource that is around a lot longer than this crisis will be. So Very cool. Well, Amrita, as you're talking to people, you're obviously very involved in the work that people are doing and the challenges people are dealing with. What are you seeing just as an industry as a whole? We're kind of going to go more big picture now than the specific products we've been talking about. What do you see as you're out there talking to everyone?
Well, I see that, like ourselves, I would say, I think everyone is just using this time to sort of pause and reflect on where they can be most helpful and what their role really is. And so we are seeing a lot of conversations about people thinking about how to not necessarily, you're not going to change what your destination is about, but I think people are now turning the lens inwards more to their local communities and not, outside of localhood. I think this is just the way that I believe we are all going to be coming out of this recovery. So, obviously, if you're a large metropolitan area, let's say you're San Francisco, of course, you're an internationally known destination and you're still always going to get people from outside the country. But I think more and more we're seeing people really look very differently at what they can do to really activate people who are in their communities already or who are within easy driving distance. So that's one thing I'm seeing. And then the other thing that I'm seeing is that we know that I think everyone is trying to think about what are the most essential things that they can be doing as a DMO. And that means really looking at your budgets, looking at the types of campaigns and content that you're focusing on. And so we see people having to get really creative in how they are thinking about messaging and campaigns going forward. And interestingly enough, it's funny because I think in some ways, at CrowdRiff, I think UGC was seen as something that often lived just in the social media world. And what we're seeing instead is that people are now looking at UGC as being a budget friendly type of content that will live across all of their marketing channels. And so I think a lot of our digital teams are going to get a lot more attention and a lot more credit for sitting on top of this really rich resource. And also, I imagine that some of the attention around digital marketing campaigns will really change to reflect the way that travel is going to change.
Yeah, you bring up 2 points that I think are just critical. The first point that you bring up about destinations turning inward and focusing on local stakeholders, whether that's people that can spend money or whether that's people who or businesses who make the destination successful. And I've had multiple conversations with people in the industry, and this keeps coming up. I think for so long the game was get heads in beds, heads in beds, heads in beds. And there was so many people coming that the businesses within the destination, the stakeholder businesses within the destination, were getting supported organically because there was so much traffic.
Mhm.
And the destination didn't necessarily have to work as hard on the stakeholder relationship side because the sheer number of travelers solved that problem in a lot of cases. And so it didn't require as much effort. But now the focus on building relationships and supporting your stakeholders and asking questions that maybe haven't been asked in several years, I think that is such a great reset for our industry anyway,
Mhm.
that it's going to benefit these DMOs that are having to do that for years and years and years.
Absolutely. And I think we've already seen some conversations that had started prior to this around what a DMO is. And there have been a lot of conversations. I know Jack Johnson at Destinations International has spoken about this a lot in terms of really being much more connected to your local community. And I think exactly what you said. I think DMOs are already very close to their local stakeholders. So we know that many of them are funded that way, or they certainly are the quote unquote product that the DMOs are marketing. I think what is changing is that the locals themselves hopefully will see what the DMOs have really done to bring economic impact to their community and sort of look at them in a different light, which I think will be fantastic. And then also, I think
Yes.
as a DMO, I know there's been a lot of conversation around destination management and what that really means instead of just destination marketing. So I see this crisis as accelerating things that have been perhaps, some seeds that have been planted already. And all of a sudden, this is coming much more to the forefront. And I think this will also tie in with questions around sustainable tourism. I know lots of destinations are thinking about how do we make tourism something that is good for our local community as well as people who are visiting. And sometimes they can feel in conflict and they don't need to. So I think this is actually, like you said, there's a lot of really, obviously, really terrible things that are happening right now. But I do believe that something like this is going to really shake up how we all live and how we all think in the tourism industry.
and how we communicate with each other.
Absolutely.
So the other point you brought up, which was the importance of these creative campaigns that we're going to see coming out of a lot of these destinations, and the recovery efforts that are coming. There's a video going around right now that I really got a kick out of. I posted it on LinkedIn and in the Destination Marketers LinkedIn group today. It's titled "All the COVID-19 ads look the same."
Yes.
and it's got, every ad has almost the same somber piano music to it. They all have the same copy. They all have the same visuals of empty streets and empty stadiums and Facebook, Uber. It's all the major players, right, that are running these ads, but everything is the same. And I've never realized the importance of creativity like I did watching that video today, because a problem that we've had in our industry in the past is change the logo, change the color scheme. You might have an ad for a place in Utah, or it could be Red Rocks in Colorado. It could be Arizona. And the only way to know is by what logo's on it, because so many people are advertising in the exact same way. And then as people tried to be creative coming into the COVID-19 situation, they just all did the same thing in a different way. And it just, the importance of creative couldn't be better illustrated than in that video that I shared today.
That's so true. I've seen that video and it made me laugh. And, individually, I guess those ads, I've seen the ads as well. And so, one ad actually seems fine. Like I think when I saw the first one, it was probably from a car company and it was Subaru and it seemed very touching actually. And then you're right, when you see them everywhere, that definitely changes things. And even as a marketer myself, I am sure I have used the words unprecedented or challenging times in more emails than I should have, but I also was really struggling to think of how else do you describe what's going on. So I agree with you. And I think that a lot of destinations, I think in general, it's come up before also in conversations I've had where, I think it can be very easy to try to be everything to everyone. And so even on the DMO side, sometimes you would see a website that looked very similar to another DMO website. And so I also think, like to add to what you were saying, that we're going to see, I hope we're going to see more of the destinations true identity come through. And even before this crisis happened, I often would say to people when I was at a conference or just having a drink with someone, in the tourism industry, that I feel like we've kind of lost sight of the fact that a big part of the beauty of travel is to experience new people and cultures that you can't in your own home environment. And you can do that even within your country. You don't have to go outside of your country to see that. And I really hope that this will, again, turn the lens on the people that make up these destinations that we're visiting instead of looking at the destination as this kind of more kind of vague, kind of not impersonal entity, but just something that's sort of like a thing instead of a group of people.
Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah, it's hard to know what to do in a crisis to defend some of the people coming up with with some of these ads, right?
Of
Uh,
course.
but if the idea comes easy, it means somebody else has probably thought of it too.
Right, right.
But the importance of authenticity, as you say, for every destination is so critical, and I appreciate that advice.
Yeah, we've seen so many amazing stories, which existed before. I think we're just seeing them in different ways, where you actually see the people behind the places that we're visiting. And this is something that I really like. And I know that, there's other people who have built experiences like Humans of New York, which has done such an amazing job of like really
Yes.
putting the spotlight on personal stories. And so I really hope we'll see more of that kind of storytelling in the DMO world going forward, so that you don't feel like an outsider when you're visiting. Ideally, it would be nice if people who are from outside the community really tried to experience it like a local.
Totally agree. Okay. Well, you're getting a lot of people just picking your brain, just asking you for advice. What is the major piece of advice that you're giving people as they're approaching the next several months?
Wow, that is a hard question. I'm doing a lot of listening right now. I think a lot of people just want to know what other people are doing. And so, even for us at CrowdRiff, like when this was all happening, the first thing I said to my team is that this is not about CrowdRiff, but what we can do is connect the 800 brands that we work with to each other. So, I've been doing a lot of listening and helping people just help each other, because we've seen such amazing creativity and resilience in our industry. But in terms of advice, I think that everyone is looking for some kind of crystal ball. And I think that a lot of the basics around marketing will still be there, which is, what is your story and what are you all about as a destination? I think what will change are probably the channels that are available to reach out to people. So I think we're going to have to see people getting a lot more creative about using digital in particular, because it is a way to really target people very specifically. And I think there's a lot of great creative that you can do on digital for different kinds of, price points than you would if you were using sort of more traditional media. So I think a lot of the basics, be someone that is trustworthy, that is offering both relevant information, but also an escape. Because for a lot of people, I think the DMOs are in a great position to not just say, okay, this is what's happening in your local community, but also just remind people of the beauty of their destinations as well.
Great advice. Great advice. And it goes back, man. I think the principle that you're kind of hitting home here is authenticity. And instead of just knowing the story, actually sharing and telling the story of your destination and making sure that you're reaching the right visitors with the right story at the right time.
Yeah, and you just made me think of something. I think you used the word reset, but I would say that's the other thing, which I've said to my team. I don't know if I've given that advice to our customers as much, but I think all of us, no matter what industry we're working in, I think we have to be prepared for reinvention. And the degree of reinvention might really vary depending on where you're starting from. But I think this is a nice opportunity to take a look at what you're doing and be open to doing things differently. And hopefully, this will just be a positive catalyst for some of the changes that I think will end up being really good for the industry as a whole.
Yeah, when I had Josh Collins on a couple of weeks ago, and I know you know Josh, Josh talked a lot about what that reset looks like, and even the idea of reinventing yourself or your company or your organization in this process. Crises are always hard. It's always difficult to go through something like this. But if you approach it the right way by being proactive, optimistic, and listening, like you said, Amrita, I really feel like organizations that do that are going to come out of this on top, are going to be, you hate to use the word winners because that insinuates that there's a loser right on the other side. But I do feel like organizations that are proactive and take this opportunity to reinvent themselves in any way that is necessary are really going to win on the other side.
Definitely. And I appreciate that for DMOs, they are, a particularly specific kind of organization. And I know it's not always easy to make change when you're so public and you have a lot of stakeholders, but I agree with Josh. And I think Josh he always has really good nuggets that make you think. I love talking to him. And I think change is hard. And I think that if we try to hang on to things just being the way they were before, I think we're in for a lot of pain. But if we look at this as more of a time of accepting that things will be different, but different doesn't mean worse, different actually might end up being better. And that we've all experienced, I'm sure personally, a lot of rewards from changing. And so hopefully we can keep that in mind as well as we go through the next few months. As challenging as they'll be, I think there will also be some incredible things that come out of this.
Absolutely. Okay. Is there anything else, Amrita, that you feel like with our audience that's listening, what do they need to know?
I really just want to just highlight what a special community the tourism community is. And I think I've felt that certainly in my years at CrowdRiff, but it's really come through over these last few weeks. I mean, I really feel so moved by what I'm seeing people do to really make a difference. And I would say reach out to each other. One of the things I love about this industry is that people are so willing to help someone from another destination if it's, picking their brain about an idea or figuring out how to use a tool or any of those things. And so much time people have given to podcasts like this and webinars. So just lean in on each other and offer yourself to each other as well, is what I would say.
I love it. I love it. Collaboration and working together. That's something, that's a theme for the industry for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, Amrita, thank you for spending a few minutes with us today. It's been great to have you, and I appreciate the knowledge and the work that you're doing in the industry to help everybody come out on top on the other side.
Thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this conversation. You're very easy to talk to, and I'm looking forward to hearing from some of your other guests as well.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Well, everyone, this has been another episode of the Destination Marketing Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet left us a rating or review, if you're enjoying the way that we're trying to bring as much knowledge and industry expertise as we can to you during this time, please go leave us a rating or review. Now would be a great time for that. Otherwise, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.